Hello to everyone who's tuning in to the Chamanbhatia event. For the segment for now, it's the hand-in-hand school and parents talk with Miss Sheeba John. Miss Sheeba, could you introduce yourself to everybody?
Sure, Rebecca, thank you. Yes, my name is Sheeba John, and I'm the head of academics at the Chamanbhatia School.
That's great. All right, so I think one thing that I find really important in schools is the relationship with the parents and the school.
Mm-hmm.
And could you describe to me what an ideal parent-school relationship looks like?
Sure, I think it's a very, very important question that you have raised, Rebecca. And I know that children and parents are the most important stakeholders of any organization, of any institution, of any school in those terms. But that being said, when I think about parents, I think there are one term that comes to my mind is partnership, community. Now, and there's another picture that emerges in front of me is, a triangle, where the three vertices of a triangle, being a maths teacher, I can't help it, but yes, a triangle, where you have the children and the parents at one end, and you've got the teachers at the other end. Well, it's the parents and it's the teachers. And then you've got the child at the other vertex, right? And then the whole idea is about both of these amazing stakeholders, the teachers and the parents, are working their relationship with their children. Now triangle, remember, it always converges to the third vertex. It has got only three, right? Three sides. Now while they're doing this, while they're working their relationship towards the child, something that automatically happens is the relationship between the parent and the teacher. So like I said, I would reiterate, it's all about partnership. It's about being able to understand one another and helping our children actualize their dreams. It's working together in collaboration, in tandem, being able to help our children achieve what they have set their hearts to, not what we as teachers or facilitators or parents have set our hearts to.
It's amazing how you brought maths here also. At least you can't escape it. I mean,
it's everywhere, isn't it?
Yeah, and it also shows how you've really made learning a part of your everyday life. And so do the parents often ask you how are you going to deal with this child? Or is my child not handling this right? What would you say usually in those situations when parents are anxious about their kids?
Sure, I think there are so many ways actually to be able to handle that. One of the things that really comes to my mind is if you have a connect. Now I think there's one African proverb that comes straight to my mind. And this is, it takes a village to raise a child. Right. Now a person by themselves, a teacher by themselves will not be able to do their job. And say, all right, it is my job and I'm going to go ahead and teach A to Z and then the children learn all about it. It cannot happen in such a scenario. It has to be a collaborative effort where it says we are a community, and that is something that we would like all facilitators, all institutions to work towards, is you're working together in tandem. And if they are anxious about it, the first thing is to be able to build a very solid rapport with the parents. So it all begins with that. When a child seeks admission in a particular school, it's the relationship, not just the teacher, the admin staff, the principal develops with the child alone. I think it is beyond. It is with the whole community. And I would say it's a marriage between the family and the institution. Yes. Wherein you have a responsibility towards ensuring that the other party is not anxious enough. And that was a very good question, Rebecca, you asked. How would you actually help parents not feel anxious about things? And I think one of the things that I and all myself facilitators would definitely work towards is building an amazing rapport with the parents. And parents, the minute they are comfortable with you, they will not only confide in you, they'll be able to talk about the things that they are struggling with. Right? And there's a big trust factor that gets built and bonded, and that's where the beautiful journey of working together in helping our children begins.
Right. So how many years have you been teaching for?
Right. For me, I think it's about a decade and a half. So it's over 15 years of teaching.
Oh my.
High school, middle years, and the primary years. I think majority of it has been in the primary years with the international school that I was with.
Yeah, I'm sure like in these 15 years of teaching, you've met how many parents? And you must have met like over 100, 200 parents.
Well, I would say beyond because it's 15 years and you can do at least times 20.
I can't. Sorry, my math skills are just not there.
At least 300, yes.
300. So would you like to give us any good, instances that you've had in terms of like teacher-parent relationships? Any good examples that come to your mind?
There are so many, innumerable, I would say. I remember one particular parent who was very anxious because they moved from another country to this particular country and to India. And they had expressed that my daughter has nobody here except us as a family. She's new, she's moved to a new country, and they don't know anybody here. And then the idea is they come into your class and then you're supposed to make the child feel comfortable, make the parents feel comfortable, give them the confidence that your child is safe, in this particular environment. So it's about building that trust. And I think it's just about having those long drawn conversations with the child, making her feel comfortable rather than bogging her, making her feel bogged down. So, oh my God, this is what I got to learn, this is what I need to do. But rather keep the curriculum aside, making the child feel comfortable in another country, showing her things around, taking long walks in a school, telling her about the culture of the school, of the country or the state that you're a part of, having those conversations and telling her always or telling the child, I'm with you in this particular journey of yours. So not only does the child start feeling comfortable, also the parents.
It's like taking guardianship for the time being while they come to school.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Couldn't agree more there.
Right. On the flip side of it, could you give us any examples of like what you would not like in like a parent-teacher relationship?
Mhm.
What would be harmful to a good parent-teacher relationship?
Right. Now, nobody's perfect.
No, of course.
Right. We are all striving towards perfection. But I think when we say that I've achieved this level of perfection, there can be something +1. Now, again, I bring in maths everywhere.
Of course.
I can't help it. But it's about being able to reach to new levels of innovation, new level. So in case, say, for example, if a parent is distressed about something, right? So you as a teacher or as a facilitator, you go ahead and take responsibility for that and say, I understand what you're going through. Is there anything I can be of help to you? And I think for me, I remember very recently we had a coffee morning at Chaman Bharatiya School, and the whole premise of having Chaman Bharatiya coffee morning was to be able to help the parents help them know that we value this relationship and that we are a community. And that being said, we said, we wanted to know from you, how are you feeling as a community? How are you coping with the pandemic that each one of us are part of? How about your children during these difficult, uncertain times? I'm sure it's difficult for you. And I think I have to say, it's very heartening to say actually that the parents were so touched. Now, did everybody, was everybody happy? Did you not have parents who expressed concerns? We did. But the whole idea was, we are there for you and we will do whatever it takes to help you feel settled. And then, so it is just about, again, it's like a marriage, right? You just can't say you did it, you did it. It's like taking responsibility and making a few adjustments and moving on, surging forward. And I think that's what it takes.
So you just spoke about the coffee morning, and I thought it was a great success.
Yeah, indeed it was.
I'm glad about it. And what were the real learning outcomes from this coffee morning that we had? What were some of the points that stood out about coffee morning?
I think one definitely is that we have made our parent body, our community of parents, feel that we value their partnership in our school. And then I think another big, huge takeaway was that we are a community and we are going to have more coffee mornings in the days to come. And the reason why, Rebecca, I say that we are going to have more coffee mornings, it was a very informal setup where parents could come over a cup of coffee, discuss various things about not just necessarily the progress of the child, because the premise of having coffee morning that particular day was to be able to have relaxed conversations. How is a child coping with maybe assignments? How about the screen time that the child is having at school? What about learning? What about having fun? What about PE? We as a community in the school, we got to know that parents really appreciated the PE sessions that were conducted.
Yes.
Some of them said, "Oh, when are you going to be opening up your library?" And we said, "Very soon we are going to be." What about next month? Are you going to be introducing this? Or I think probably we are having too much of screen time. Some of the little ones, parents did mention that, and how we can bring about a balance so that the child who is at home 24/7, they have some kind of extracurricular activity apart from, of course, education. I know this year has been a very, very difficult one where a child has not been able to go out, play tag, maybe be able to burn all the calories that generally, in a normal scenario they would do. It is a very difficult scenario that we are living in, and they are adjusting. It was an opportunity where we could relate to that and let the parents know, yes, you are going through a difficult time, and we are with you in this particular journey, and we would go any miles, we would travel any miles to be able to make your life maybe a small percentage easier.
I thought the coffee morning was really excellent because it didn't matter whether all the parents had really positive things to say, right?
Yeah.
I mean, we love it when they give us feedback because it gives us so much to learn, it gives us so much to improve on. And I think that's what we love here at Chandrabalia.
Yes, and also I think, Rebecca, it was a very, very important avenue where parents could express themselves wholly rather than, hold back and having no inhibition saying, I think my child is not happy in this particular situation, or I think my child is having too much of screen time, although we are following the government directives. So that being said, it was an avenue where parents could be themselves. They didn't have to feel. And then, of course, another avenue where we as a school, as Chaman Bharatiya, we are telling our parents, we value feedback. We thrive on the feedback that you give us. And it is not about school making decisions. It is, like I said earlier, it's partnership. So it's not just the school which makes decisions for the children or for their community, but it is about every stakeholder, and parents being very, very important stakeholders. They have things to say about where the curriculum could be perhaps, or where could, the activities could be. How about this? How about including, this particular project? How about that? Maybe you could consider changing the timetable. Like, one of the things that came up was, I think for the younger ones, you could perhaps start off with PE in the morning, and they would be so much geared up to what's in store for the next lesson.
Right.
So there were very, very valuable feedback that we received from the parents, and we as a school are going to be sitting on those ideas to be able to see where we could incorporate those. So I think it's about give and take. It's about being able to build that lovely foundation and adding to that particular foundation the precepts on which the following years of schooling is going to be based on.
Yeah, definitely. I really love that the coffee morning. It just, more than anything, it showed us that the parents really do care.
They do.
And they're willing to make the effort to have this close communication with the school.
Absolutely.
And I think that's the first step to a really good school-parent relationship.
Yes.
Thank you so much for this time that you've given us. It's my pleasure to have you on the show. And I hope that, as time goes by, more people will be able to come and have this great relationship with Chaman Bharatiya.
Absolutely.
All right. Well, thank you so much for everyone who tuned in. Please stick around for tomorrow's events and the day after that. We have much more stuff coming up. It's going to be great. So again, thank you so much. See you next time.